All right, it's probably fine. I gotta put up a timer as well.
Okay.
So I've been having to do this honestly for like the longest time. Okay, Miss Lee, I have been trying to get you on the podcast. Finally here. It's all rushed, like 15 minutes left.
Yep.
Poor planning on my part. Not Miss Lee's fault at all. But we're here
okay.
regardless.
We made
it matters.
Yeah, that's right.
Even though I already kind of name dropped you. Who am I here with today?
That's okay. My name is Christy Lee.
Christy Lee.
Yeah.
So you are I guess not the first sub, but as far as I've been here, you're like the first like long-term sub that we've had.
Yeah.
And that is something special. How do you feel to be like in this environment here?
Yeah, it was a really good experience. I think the last 2 years I've taught at 2 different schools, and so this would be technically the beginning of my 3rd year. I subbed until I found a permanent position, and this was a long-term subbing position that, it was a really cool experience because it's different than traditional high school, right? So we're on a college campus and get to treat students a little bit different than, traditional high school. So it's awesome.
That's the nature of this time. But again, all my fault. But anyway, so yeah, this is your first long time subbing position.
Yep.
And you're at a non-traditional high school. I remember I got a little bit surface information over the time that we've been here. You wanted to be a teacher now, but it wasn't always like that.
Yeah, well, okay, so from childhood, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I was the kid that lined up my teddy bears in my bedroom and had like a fake grade book. And I would truly like fake grade kids, like my teddy bears or whatever, and give them grades. And I would make my older brother play school and stuff like that. But then when I hit college, I had an advisor that was really pushing studying abroad. And I thought, okay, well, that's an interesting concept. I've never left really the state of Florida, right? And so I ended up wanting to really pursue studying abroad, and I'm glad I did, but I couldn't be an education major in that process. So they didn't have any type of program where you could study abroad doing education. So I changed my major to business.
To business.
Solely to study abroad.
Where'd you go?
Scotland.
Scotland. How was
Yeah.
Scotland for you?
Is that still going? Oh, it is.
Yeah,
okay.
it will be.
Perfect. I was just making sure.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, Scotland was awesome. I loved it. Again, growing up in Florida, never really leaving Florida. I went to Scotland from January through May and ended up staying a little bit longer to get to travel around Europe a little bit. Going in January was horrible because it was very rainy, very cold. I never saw snow in my life until I went to
Florida.
yeah, right. And so went from the sunny state of Florida to the freezing, cold, rainy, dark Scotland at the beginning of the school year, or the beginning of the year for school was very hard. So for spring break, I had plans to go travel with friends and do all this stuff in Europe. And I called my mom like a couple weeks before and I was like, I want to fly home. And she was like, what? And she, of course, being a very loving mom, quickly got on and got me a flight home so I could be home with her for, for spring break. So kind of bittersweet, right?
Yeah.
Like I missed out on an experience, but also just really experienced needing my parents and my family, and getting that was fun too. So
I'm honestly surprised because I want to study abroad definitely, but like hearing that you kind of switched your whole pathway to just to study abroad, I mean, that's your life, right? Like you did that. You did that.
Yeah.
That is what you did.
Well, I will say, so as the advisor really was like, you can be a teacher with any degree. And so again, I don't know if that teacher was getting or the advisor was getting like kickbacks for kids studying abroad or what, but I'm really glad I went, right? So being a teacher now, like things are harder because I don't have the traditional like education to be a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know all the strategies and all the tips and all the things, but truly that's how teaching is too, right? So you just have to like jump in and figure out how you're going to do it because there's no right or wrong way. It's really just like connecting with students. And so, yeah, everyone kind of gets their own path into education anyway.
That's really insightful for teaching. my mom was a teacher for, I think, 8 years. I could be
Nice.
wrong. If she watches this, she'll get mad at me for getting it
No,
wrong.
what'd she
But
teach?
She taught Spanish.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so it kind of interesting family dynamic. My dad's Dominican, mom full white, but speaks fluent Spanish, which is always, it was always funny to me. You know, it was always funny to me. But she was a Spanish teacher 8 years, and it was very interesting because I think she taught high school her whole time. But it was very interesting because I was really young when she was a teacher, so I would get kind of an aspect of what it's like to teach older kids when I was younger, and now that I'm in that age group that she would have taught, it's kind of it's like, you know what, Mom, you were right about some things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But teaching as a whole, it's a craft, a skill. Oh, it's incredible. Like, to be a teacher,
Yeah.
it's a truly an experience. And you guys definitely don't get the credit you deserve
Aw, that's really sweet.
for, honestly, I guess in a sense, really raising the next generation.
Yeah.
It's something. It really is something.
No, thank you for saying that. It's funny. I always tell my kids, so I've got 3 children. They're 14, 12, and almost 10. I tell my kids, it doesn't matter, like the grade in your classes, like truly understanding what you're doing isn't the goal, right? So the goal is to prove to your teacher that you are capable of learning. So whatever that looks like for the teacher is how you're really going to be successful or not, right? So my middle son struggles in class in general. He has ADHD and just is fun and loving and like caring, all those things, right? But just doesn't like sitting down and being still.
Yeah.
And so that's hard for a teacher, especially when you've got 20-some students in a class, and I understand that. So he struggles in class, like in school in general, right? His grades are a little bit lower and all this stuff. And this year has been fun to really like, hopefully he's getting a little bit better, like insightful, right? Like, hey, the relationship with the teacher is more important than what your content is.
Yeah.
So if your teacher, and not necessarily likes you or dislikes you, that's not what I'm saying, but like if you're showing that you're trying, that you're caring, that you're turning your work in, that you're doing all the things, like your teacher's gonna work with you. But if you're the kid that's not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
And then the day before grades are due, you're like, oh crumb, like I have 5 missing assignments. The teacher's like, yeah, well, sorry, you know? So I think it's fun now as a mom getting to like speak into different areas for my kids too,
Yeah.
as a teacher, because I was the type of student that I wanted to please all my teachers, so I was the straight A student.
Yeah.
I always had perfect grades.
The goody
and
two-shoes.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. And it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to learn whatever that teacher was teaching. I wanted that teacher to like me.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, so it's different when I'm raising kids that are not necessarily people pleasers.
Yeah.
And so teaching them how to like work the system, if you will, but in a way that I think that's a life lesson. You know,
yeah.
that's how it is in work and in every job.
It's a
right?
game. It's
yeah,
a game.
100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of.
That's interesting. Yeah, especially when they're not like you. I think even at my age, if I think about if I have kids in the future, how they're probably not going to be like me. You know.
Yeah, and honestly, if they're like you, it's almost harder. So my daughter and I are very similar, and my mom tells me all the time, anytime I call her and I'm like, you know, venting about something, and I'm like, Maggie did this or whatever, you know, my mom's like, I'm glad she's doing that. That was you, you know, or whatever, and I'm like, oh, great, thanks,
Yeah.
Mom. But yeah, so it's challenging both ways. Parenting is just hard in general, and I think it's obviously one of the most rewarding things. And teaching is too, right? It's like you really try to build these relationships with students and want them to succeed and learn, and it's the same with your own children. So it's, at least my job and my home life are like cohesive in that.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice to have that.
That's
fluidity.
good. That's good to hear. Yeah, your work kind of. I put it in a previous interview about how. Not always, but sometimes you would like to have a job that you can take what you learn at work and use it at home.
Yeah.
And that kind of sounds like what you just described in a
Yeah.
way, and it's like that's the goal. Right? The goal is to be able to have a dual lifestyle where you're working, you're also a mom.
Yep.
But in some ways they overlap.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So it's definitely different parenting a high schooler versus teaching high school. So now my oldest is a freshman in high school, and you know, they just got to let him learn on his
Yeah.
own and make mistakes and do the hard things, but also like guide him and love him through it, right? So, but it's been fun. so far.
So you have a child in basically every single school?
Every single school, elementary, middle, and high. Yeah, it's crazy. It'll be like this for 2 years, and then we'll narrow it down to 2 schools for a couple years. But yeah,
that's exciting. I guess having 3 kids. This has been coming on for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's been going down this road, and I mean, that was me like 4 years ago.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It really is. It flies by.
Yeah.
So you mentioned your business degree.
Yes.
You got your business degree. What did you do with that?
So not a whole lot. It's kind of funny thinking back, right? So I got married a couple years after college. Right after college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I kind of ventured into teaching preschool. Didn't love that, but didn't really have my degree in education, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I worked at Fastenal. I don't know if you've heard of that.
What that is, no.
So it's like a tool company.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like pack tools, deliver them, help people in stores, like just kind of do a bunch of random stuff.
Yeah.
And then ended up meeting my children's father, which we got married, moved away, and had the 3 kids. So I didn't work for 13 years, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that lifestyle like?
Yeah, it was wild. Staying home with all of them was way harder than going to work every day. Being a stay-at-home mom was by far the hardest. I think just wanting and desiring and needing people to talk to, right? And like you have all these 3 little minds that have their own minds, right? But they don't really communicate well with you. And that was very difficult. But I jumped into a bunch of little groups, actually created a MOPS group, a mother of preschoolers here, and it was in Ottawa years and years ago.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, so it's mothers of preschoolers where it was once a week we would get together and we found volunteers to have like their kids in their own rooms, and then moms had their own space where we did like crafts. We would have guest speakers. We would really just have an hour and a half a week to ourselves.
Do you like graduate to like mothers like kindergarten? Or something?
So there is actually a mothers of something. I didn't ever do that because I had a preschooler for so long, right? Because I had the 14, they were 6 years apart and all that stuff. So anyway, so it was just like I had a preschooler for a really long time. But yeah, eventually I decided that I felt like leading that anymore, right? And I wanted to go into the workforce. So I became the kids ministry director at my church, was that for several years, and then dabbled into the accounting world, doing some bookkeeping stuff, and then decided I wanted to be a teacher. And so I taught at East Hamilton High School as a business and accounting teacher. So I did kind of use my degree for that year.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it kind of was like, it seemed like at the time like a perfect mesh, right? Like I was teaching business, but I quickly learned that I didn't love that. I loved the teaching aspect or like the relationship part with the students, and like trying to navigate that first year was really hard as a teacher, but I knew I wanted to teach, I just didn't want to teach that. So then I tried to figure out life after that, and ended up moving back home to be closer to my parents for a year, and reconnected with my favorite math teacher when I was growing up. And he helped me study for the praxis because he saw that I loved math, when I was in high school, and we stayed friends after high school, I guess, through Facebook and stuff. And he just really encouraged me to teach math. And a year and a half later, I love it. So that's kind of how I...
That's a long time to hone that craft. Yeah, not everybody has a mind for math. That's definitely definitely something, because math is not always so easy. Yeah.
No, which again, in business, like you use math for different areas, and that was always something that I really enjoyed. I knew that part, right? And so I think the transition wasn't as bad as I thought, and so finding what I've wanted to do for so long, and now being able to connect that with what I actually truly enjoy, which is math, right? And I just figured that out at 38 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. One final question for you.
Yeah.
What Well, actually, no. You know, I won't ask. They say don't ask a lady how old she is, so I'm not gonna ask.
Oh,
okay?
I'm 38. I'm fine with telling everyone. Yes,
Total,
no,
okay,
that's
she's
good.
out there. Though. She's comfortable. She's comfortable.
that's right.
That's good. What lesson have you learned out of your 38 years?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just have to pick one.
Just one.
One life lesson. I would say one of the biggest things I've learned. Ooh, I don't even know how to say it. Truly, to like never. I don't want to say the word settle. Like never get too comfortable with where you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you truly like stop growing if you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing, I feel like I've gone through a really hard season of life the last couple of years, trying to figure out who I am, what I want to do, where I want to be, right?
Yeah.
And within doing that, I've learned that I did settle for a long time, you know, and I kind of was just complacent at where I was in life and what I was doing and like a lot of different aspects, right? I wasn't trying to better myself. I was just going through motions as being a new mom and like being married and all those things. But then when I started realizing like everyone needs to continue to learn and grow and develop, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, the biggest life lesson I've learned.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely a good one. I still have not heard a repeat yet. I've done 5 of them now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, no repeat. That's good.
Oh,
Never settle. I guess don't be complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a very good
My
one.
brother, this was several years ago, we got into like a really deep conversation, like, I don't know, 2 a.m, and he told me over and over again, like, don't settle. And it was, you know, it wasn't about one thing necessarily. Like, I just felt like, again, I was in this weird place in my life where I was trying to figure things out. And he said it multiple times, and I think it actually, like, finally sunk in and was like, oh, okay. But not just for this part, like, forever, right? Like, always continue to grow and learn and develop. And so
I think I would say that's where life gets the most fun.
Yeah.
Is when you're growing. Yeah, like
agree.
it's kind of the idea where it's like it's the journey, not the destination.
Yep.
I think because when you get to the destination, that's when you start to settle. You start to get comfortable.
Exactly.
But I mean, life's most important and wildest moments is when you're during the journey.
That's right.
During the journey, 100%, because it's the majority of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you start to spend it settling at the destination, you know, it gets kind of flat.
Yeah.
Really.
Exactly.
So.
Well, you're wise beyond your words.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Lee. Thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
I'm sorry it was, you know, the way it was.
That's
but
right. Hey, it works out.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It really was. And I'm glad it's your last day. I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, me too. Thanks
I think
for
I
having
told
me.
you about it your first day.
Yeah.
On the last day. That's when we shot it. We had the whole time.
I know. Well, I will say this went by really fast, like
It
this
did,
little
yeah.
interim position, but I'm very thankful to have gotten to do it. So nice to meet you.